everybody. My name is Alicia, and welcome to the Rat's Nest. For those of you who are unaware of what this is, what's going on, this is the official RatPotatoez Podcast. So, welcome to the first episode, everybody. You're witnessing history here. So, a little bit of history as to why we're here to begin with. Some of you have been here since the very, very beginning, about 2 years ago, when I started a Tumblr blog called RatPotatoez with an S. It's grown since then. Like I said, about 2 years ago, and we are almost at 3,000 followers, you guys. Like, holy cow. Now, with that, I mean, yeah, it's grown exponentially. We've grown from Tumblr. We've graduated from Tumblr. Actually, we've gone to Facebook. We've gone to Snapchat, Instagram. Now to be soon SoundCloud and maybe even Spotify and Google Podcasts. Hopefully, fingers crossed here. Now, some of you who have been, who are familiar with the Tumblr blog, would also be familiar with a little thing that I like to call PSA posts. And what PSA, obviously, public service announcements. Now, what that is, it's just an informational post that I like to make on how we can better care for our pets as rat parents, So I've got PSA posts on things like, first-time rat owners, which is what we're going to talk about today, how to prepare for your new pet. I've also done things on, hairless rat care, which is always fun to talk about. Some of you know how passionate I am about my little naked potatoes. I've also done things on pregnant rat care, or, how to care for your senior rats, or even things like rat toys, like just anything and everything to help us to give our little furry friends better lives, and just so that they can be so much happier with us. So yeah, today we are going to be talking about first-time rat parents. So welcome to you, to anybody who is about to make the best and worst decision of their lives, which is, accepting these little furry buttholes into your life. I have 4 rats myself. Some of you are aware. Science, One, Impa, and Chic, and I love them with all of my heart. I really, truly do. I consider them my babies, like once I start talking about them, I cannot and will not shut up, as you're about to witness for the next hour or so. But I mean, you got to admit, they have their moments. Having a rat is essentially exactly like having a child, but with a tail. Let's be honest here. So anyway, let's begin. So when you're preparing here for your new little furry addition to your family, you want to make sure that they have a nice, safe home to live in. I'm talking about the cage here, people. So you want a big cage. We're not going to beat around the bush at all. Where you need a big cage. When, I don't know about you guys, but I personally love going to the pet store. We used to make a trip out of it every week. When I was a kid, we would go to the pet store and check out the snakes, the spiders, the fish, and the birds, like everything. And a lot of pet stores will try to pass off these tiny little cages as acceptable permanent homes for our little babies here. And I am here to tell you that is not true in the least. Like, that is just beyond unacceptable. With that said, I have one. It's not their permanent home, though. Those small little cages are not acceptable for any pet. ever as a permanent home. For example, hamsters, hamsters in the wild. Yes. Wild hamsters, people. They like to dig. They like to be able to nest. They love to be able to like stash, and it's really quite cute actually. But yeah, they need lots and lots and lots of space to be able to dig, and tunnel and create dens. Rabbits, they need big spaces to hop and play, and those tiny little cages. Oh, it hurts me. And then rats, our little potatoes here, they need to be able to climb, they need to be able to dig, they need to be able to do whatever their little furry hearts desire. So those little cages, I do still recommend having just one, and having it, keeping it aside. Mine I keep in linen closet, and just have it ready just in case, there's an emergency and you need to get up and go, or having it as like a hospital cage if one of your babes gets sick, so definitely have one, and just have it handy just in case you need to quarantine, you need to go, you can you could bring it for a vet trip too, but I personally use a carrier case for those. I think it's actually meant for ferrets, but I mean, whatever gets the job done, so yeah, so you want to have a couple of different options here if possible. But permanent home, you need a really big cage. So for one rat, they need a minimum of 2.5 square feet that per rat. And when you do eventually get a rat, you need to get at least 2. 3 is better, just because, rats are very, very social animals, and they have their complicated little hierarchies and things. And so if there's just 2 rats, it's, a constant power struggle. So 3 rats is definitely better, because then they can get a hold of themselves and calm down, and they'll be okay. Plus, for us, the more rats, the better, right? Like, are we kidding? Rats are great. They're so cute. They're tiny little grabby hands. Oh my gosh. So yeah, 2.5 square feet per rat. And also with this whole cage situation here, you want to have at least a 5-mile radius around it where there's nothing anywhere near the cage. Like I said, 5-mile radius, because if there's something by the cage that they can reach, they will reach it, and they will pull it in, and it will be no more. I have lost so many shirts to these guys. Like, it is ridiculous just because I keep forgetting. So please be aware of that. Be cautious. Don't let your rats try to live out their fashionista dreams. Don't do it, guys. Just please, for the love of your clothing, keep everything away. Now, cage-wise, unfortunately, because they need such large cages, it's not going to come cheap. Preparing for your rat, it's not cheap. My cage, it was on sale at PetSmart, $150, $200, somewhere in there. I don't remember, unfortunately. It was a little while ago, but it's a good quality cage. And if you have to get a cage off of like Facebook Marketplace or eBay or whatever, make sure that one, it's clean, whether you clean it or they clean it or whatever, figure it out. Don't worry about it. But you need to make sure that there's less than a 1/4 inch spacing. 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, because if it's too small, your rats will escape. They are tiny little escape artists. They will not hesitate to run. Again, something that we've had to deal with in the past as well, and let me tell you, it's not fun to deal with that. My living situation, my landlord isn't, she's not as appreciative of these little fuzz butts as we are, and had some unfortunate situations. Luckily, I was able to, take care of it, fix it, whatever. It's no big deal. But, you want to stay out of trouble, and you want to keep them safe. So now in the cage, you're going to want to be able to, deck it out and, make sure that they're happy and comfortable and occupied. So what I do is, if I have like a case of pop or Kleenex boxes, I'll put those in the cage. Empty boxes. They love empty boxes, people. Oh my goodness. Because it gives them a place to hide. It gives them a place to play. It gives them new smells. It gives them, they can figure it out. And then the Kleenex boxes, just give them a full Kleenex box. That's what I do. Just make sure that you take out the plastic that's around the opening in the box, and then just, toss it in there. Oliver, some of you are familiar with her. She was my sister's hairless rat. She was such a sweetie. We would put a full Kleenex box in there, and without even pulling anything out, she would climb into the box, and she would just, sleep. She would climb into a full Kleenex box and just sleep. While Cortana was trying to pull everything out. Like, it was so precious. Like, that Kleenex, it will provide them with bedding. It'll provide them with entertainment. It'll, it's all around great. And, it's pretty cheap too. You can get them at the dollar store. You can get them on sale at like Superstore, Walmart, Target, wherever. Pretty chill. You want to give them like blankets and hammocks, and if you're ever looking for some really well-made, decently priced hammocks, I'm a girl. If you go and check out my Instagram at RatPotatoes_store, and RatPotatoes is spelt with a Z at the end, you can see what I've got in stock, and maybe we could hook you up with some custom whatever if that's what you're looking for. I can hook you up. And, my rats, personally, I use my hammocks as well. They love them. Like right now, honestly, all 4 of them are piled into this tunnel hammock that is in the cage, and they are knocked out. It is so precious. You can actually see a lot of pictures of them sleeping in these hammocks on my main Instagram at RatPotatoes, again spelled with a Z at the end, not an S. It is just, it's so precious to see. They love these hammocks. I've just all good reviews from everybody who's ordered them in the past as well. Rats love these soft hammocks. It's great. All right, now moving on. I just want to take a moment to talk about hamster balls. And not like actual balls on a hamster. No, please get your mind out of the gutters, people. I'm talking about those exercise balls, the plastic ones that you put your rodent in, pop the lid on, and just let them run free and hope for the best. Those, I want to take a second to try to explain just how bad and awful those things are, because they are. They're really, really bad for any animal. They honestly should not be allowed to be sold, in my honest opinion. Reason being, is especially, we're gonna focus on rats right now. So reason being for rats, if you get a smaller ball, when they are going around and they're running, their backs are arched, and it's so bad. Imagine running on a treadmill while stretched all the way back with your back arched, and running like that. It's not comfortable. It hurts, and it's going to give them back problems. And the ventilation holes are so small, and rats stress poop, and they stress pee. In Cortana's case, she stress farted. It was horrendous, okay? She made my entire car reek of rotting cabbage within the span of 10 seconds. But yeah, they stress pee, they stress poop, and so the ventilation isn't enough to be able to let out that stench, to let out the ammonia. So they're breathing that in as they're panicking, because they're not able to control it properly. And if you get a bigger ball, like you're supposed to for a rat, so that their backs aren't arched, it's harder for them to control. They can't control it. And so it's even more of a scary experience for them. That being said, the only reason you should really have a hamster ball like that is if you're going to put it in the cage as a nest. That's what I did with Willow at one point, is as I went out and I bought one of these hamster balls, and I strapped it into the cage. I popped some blankets in there, and she would sleep in it. I put it in the new cage after a while too, and Oliver and Cortana and Baby would all pile in there, and they loved it. So that's okay. And then, like if you get a wheel for your hamster, if you get a wheel for your rat, it has to be big. It has to be very, very big. It has to be big enough that their backs aren't going to be arched. I believe it's at least 12 inches, so a sizable wheel. Discs are better, flat discs, because then they're just running in a flat circle, and you don't need to worry about their their backs or getting wheel tails. So like when their tails arch up, and it doesn't hurt them, but it looks funny. So you don't need to worry about any of that with a flat disc, a saucer, really. So yeah, pet stores unfortunately they have a tendency to just be wildly uninformed when it comes to any animal, really, other than, cats and dogs, obviously, because they're such conventional pets, So, which, I mean, there's nothing against pet stores, because most of them are just, they're people just trying to get through the day, just trying to pay their bills, just like every one of us. So I'm not trying to take a stab at anybody in pet stores. I'm just trying to make this information more widely available to those of us who would like to improve our husbandry skills with pocket pets like rats and mice and hamsters and such. Some other things that aren't terribly great for rats are hay. Timothy hates. I personally try to avoid it, but Timothy hay is okay for your rats. They won't really eat it normally. They'll just use it as bedding. But anything with alfalfa in it, you need to stay away from, because alfalfa will actually cause blockages in their system. And before I go on with that, I also want to mention snack shacks. Those should honestly be pulled off of the shelves. I'm not sure if any of you have ever seen those in stores or anything, but they're just like little huts, and they're designed to encourage chewing. So like they're made of honey, they're made of alfalfa, they're made of whatever, and they've been known to kill pets, because alfalfa, we're getting back to that now, when it's ingested by these animals, it can't be properly digested, so it causes blockages in their digestive tract, which, if it's not caught in time, will kill your pet. Not to get, all doom and gloom here, but I mean, unfortunately, it is the truth. There have been many cases of this happening. So stay away from alfalfa, stay away from Snack Shack. Just please don't do it. If you happen to see that, pet store has Snack Shacks in their rodent cages, give them a heads up. Don't be mean, please. Like the employees are doing nothing wrong. They're just doing what they're being told to do. So please be nice about it, but give them a heads up. Just try to look out for the well-being of these animals, because they can't do anything about it. So yeah, no Snack Shacks, no alfalfa. Now, moving on from all of that here, let's talk about food and treats. because that's every rat's favorite thing to talk about, treats. So with treats, I personally buy this brand called Complete Crock. What they are is they're a hard shelled treat with almost like an ooey gooey kind of inside. It's not ooey gooey; it's a soft inside. And what it does is it helps to satisfy that need to chew, because rats are rodents. They need to chew on things. So the girls love these. Now Cortana, she liked softer treats, and this is the cool thing about having pet rats, is that they have such distinct personalities. Cortana, she's very gentle. She was very quiet. But she loved to cuddle. She really, really did, and she loved softer treats too. So I got, and I still get them sometimes, but I got, they're, like little yogurt drops, essentially. And, the girls, they all love them. I think they're like honey flavored or something. But, I get those too, and I'll give them to them sometimes. And, another treat that I know is very popular with the rats, they're called yogis. Now I'm in Canada, so, I've looked everywhere for these things. Like, I've even looked on Amazon, and I'm not necessarily a fan of Amazon, but, I've looked on there, and I can't even find them there. But you can find them at, I think it's Petco in the States. I went out last December to go on a trip with a friend, and we had some time left over, so we stopped at a Petco, and I picked some up, and I brought them home to the girls. They're much smaller yogurt drops, and they were cheese flavored. And I've never seen them go so bonkers over treats before. It was hysterical. It was so great to see. It was so nice to see them so happy, So those are some yummy treat options there for you. Or if you're feeling creative, you could even make your own. I've heard of people actually taking a cookie sheet and putting like parchment paper on it and putting literal drops of yogurt and freezing it like that. Or you could like freeze fruit or peas, or you can, if it's the summertime and you're looking for a way to cool them down, you can take like little bits of fruit and put them in an ice cube tray and freeze them like that, and give them to as a snack, like healthy little snacks and things. Honestly, my rats eat better than I do. Okay, so just little things like this. And then food-wise, I personally buy Oxbow adult rat food for my girls. They eat it, they love it, and then they also get the occasional treat of Cheerios, especially when I'm working on hammocks. And they're happy, fat little rats. A lot of people like to make their own mixes as well. So like they'll actually mix in food. So like Oxbow or with Cheerios, cornflakes, and like maybe some oatmeal put into there, different things like that. And that's great because it gives them more variety, it gives them more food, it makes it last longer, but it also tends to create very picky eaters. And I don't know if there's any more experienced rat owners out there who are listening to this, but I imagine that you have had that struggle as well. Rats, like I said, they have very distinct personalities, and they can be extremely picky eaters. But so if you're trying to break that picky eater habit and you're trying to get them onto a new food, just give them that new food. Straight up, just give it to them. It might take them a day or two to finally cave and just eat it. But trust me, your rat is not going to let itself starve. I can promise you that. They love to eat too much. Okay, let's be honest here. Another thing another treat food kind of thing that I love to give the girls, hard-boiled eggs. Now, with these, you can leave the shell on if you want. I do. But, like just crack it a little bit first so that they can actually get into it. But this also provides really good stimulation because they got to figure out how to get into it, So, wow, I say I know a lot, huh? But, yeah, just give them the egg, and they will go to town, honestly. You can also just give them a break every once in a while. Just give them an egg. Give them an ear of corn. Make sure, of course, you wash it, and even cook it first if you can, just to make sure that it's clean, it's safe. Raw isn't going to hurt them, but you don't necessarily want to take chances. Yeah, so make sure that it's, just give them some variety every once in a while, because who really likes to eat the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over, right? So, and if you do decide to get a rat, and you're like me, and you live in a very small apartment, I'm sorry, but you have to give up candles. You have to give up incense. You have to give up air fresheners, that kind of thing. Well, with candles, I want to specify normal candles. Like if you go to Walmart and you go into the candle section, you can't burn those in the same room. Beeswax candles are okay because they actually clean the air as they burn, but don't ever burn anything like that directly next to the cage or anywhere near the cage or anywhere in the something vicinity of the cage. Rats. The reason being is rats have they have very, very sensitive respiratory systems and are very susceptible to respiratory issues and upper respiratory infections. It's very common. So if your rat does come down with a little bit of a cough or a little bit of a sneeze, please don't feel bad. Almost every single rat gets that at some point in their life. It's not you doing anything wrong. I promise you that right now. So don't worry about it. Just, of course, bring them into the vets and have them checked out, because you don't want that to get to be, anything too bad. You don't want it to progress, but you definitely want to get it taken care of. Now, talking about the vet, I know everybody's favorite topic, whether it's for your cat, your dog, your bird, your nope ropes, it's never something that's exactly fun to talk about, but unfortunately it's something we have to do. I wish that somebody would have told this to me before we got rats. So I'm going to tell you guys this now. Set up a vet fund before you get your rats. I personally have actually set up an entirely separate bank account from my own, and all of the funds that I get from selling you guys these hammocks goes directly into that vet fund for the girls. So I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, you definitely want to have a fund set up. If you can, I don't know what your guys' financial sort of situations are, but if you can, put aside $50 from every check into that vet fund. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, you will thank yourselves later. For example, my sister, her very first rat, she was such a sweetie. Her name was Templeton. She had gotten an abscess on the side of her neck. And we had to have it drained twice. So basically, they cut open the abscess, they drain it, and then they stitch her up, whatever. And both times it was about $250 Canadian. So it's with pocket pets, you would think it would be a little bit cheaper, but no, it's not. So you definitely want to have a sizable vet fund going, for emergencies, for checkups, for surgeries, for anything. Like I said, you will thank yourself later for having that vet fund going. And speaking of vets, actually, before I go on to there, even with the checkups, we have had a total of about 11 rats so far over the years, and out of those 11 rats, we've had 2 who have had what's called malocclusion. Charlie and Cortana, their teeth grew faster than they could wear them down naturally. So like beavers, their rats' teeth, they constantly grow until they die. And so Cortana and Charlie, they weren't able to wear them down fast enough, and so we actually had to bring them into the vet every week or two to have them manually trimmed, which was, $15-$20 every visit. So yeah, you're gonna want to have that vet fund set up. Now, moving on, so the vet, before you even buy the cage, I want you guys to actually go out. Oh, hi, Science. Science is out. I want you guys to go out and scope out the vets in your town. I'm lucky. Where I live, we have, I don't know, honestly, off the top of my head, I can think of 6 or 7 different veterinary clinics. But unfortunately, only 2 of them deal with exotics, including rats. So you want to be able to find a good, reputable veterinary clinic who you can trust. You want to be able to build a rapport with the people who are there. You want to be able to trust them because they're going to be looking after your pets, and pets are family. And you also don't want to be stuck in the middle of the night with an emergency and not have anywhere to go, because honestly, it sucks, and nobody should ever have to experience that. So you wanna have a vet lined up for when you get your little fur babies. If you get males, if you can, you want to try to neuter them. It's not necessary, but it's helpful, for one, because especially if as they grow older, once their hormones and testosterone and everything really starts to kick in, they can sometimes get to be a little aggressive. So if you neuter them, it takes out that hormonal factor, and it can tone down any aggression that they might have, and just totally chill them out. And not only that, but neutering them reduces the chances of them getting any tumors. Spaying your female rats can also help to reduce any, mammary tumors or any uterine prolapses or anything like that. But it's much more invasive, and it's a lot more dangerous, and vets will typically, just try to avoid it, if they can, rightfully so. They're very small animals, so but spay and neuter your pets if you can. Definitely do that. But also keep in mind that it's very expensive. It's very stressful on the animal. So, if necessary, definitely do it. All right. And so we're gonna get a little doom and gloomy here for just a moment, because I need you guys to be prepared. I'm not sure how many people know this, especially new rat owners, but rats unfortunately have a very short lifespan of about 2-3 years-ish. Baby was the oldest rat that I have owned. She lived to be about 3.5-ish, I think. Yeah, 3.5 years old. I adopted her from my other mother. Hello, if you're listening. We gave her a good life here, because she was a little bundle of joy. She loved to eat. The way to a rat's heart, I'm not sure if I said this, but the way to a rat's heart is with food. 100%. So, Yeah. So with their short lifespan, you'll have to, bury them or cremate them. And, I don't, that can be a little difficult if you're, again, like me and you live in a small apartment, because, you can't really bury an animal inside an apartment. So with that, there are some options, if you're able to, if you have family who live out on a farm or have their own private backyard or something, you can bury your animal there. Or, a lot of vets will do cremations, and you can do private cremations even, and have their ashes back. That's what I did for Oliver, Baby, and Cortana. So Cortana and Baby are here with me, and we took some of Baby's ashes and we mixed her in with some flowers, and so she also lives with my sister and our other mother, Kala. And so, those are some options. We're gonna get a little gruesome here for a moment, so if you're not okay with mentions of blood and gore, please skip ahead for a few minutes, actually. Yeah, just to be safe. So you can also bury your rat in potted plants. Really, like out on your deck or your patio or something. And I know a lot of people also do this if they want to preserve skeletons, if they want to remember their animal in that way. So you can bury your rat in a potted plant and allow the body to naturally decompose that way. And to do that, you can also put in like mealworms, superworms, that kind of thing to help speed up that process a little bit. If you do decide to do this, please be aware that more than likely there will be a smell, because it's a decomposing body. And if you go to water the plant, you might come across blood that comes out from the bottom, through the drainage holes in the plant. Or not the plant, but the pot. So just please be aware that those are possibilities. Just keep that in mind. Now, okay, let's move away from that now. We're done with the doom and we're done with the gloom. We're on to happier things now. Okay, we're on to shinier brighter pastures, whatever the saying is. I have no idea what it is. Rats make amazing pets. And honestly, if you do decide to welcome them into your home and into your life, it will be one of the best decisions you've ever made. They are such sweeties, especially when you make that bond with them. And, as long as you treat them with the love and respect that they deserve, you will both give each other just absolutely endless amounts of joy and love and happiness. Really, it's such a rewarding experience, especially if you happen to welcome in a rat who's a little bit more skittish or nervous or scared, and you're able to help them to open up and be happier and friendlier and, just more content with their own life in general. It's so rewarding, honestly. And I personally love that feeling, to be able to help these animals to be happy, and through these podcasts and through checking out my blog and my social medias and everything, and even joining rat groups on Facebook or forums or whatever, you'll probably come across the term heart rat a lot. Now, a heart rat is, for lack of a better term, it's a favorite. Let's be honest here. It's a rat that you form a bond with, even more so than the others. For example, Willow. She was my heart rat. She was my first hairless. She was such a sweetie. She didn't really get along with anybody else. I remember she actually bit my sister at one point, and drew blood. In Willow's defense, my sister scared her. She went to go clean the cage, and she was sleeping, and, my sister reached in and tried to, pull her out of the nest, and Willow was not having it that day. So, but, she just didn't really get along with anybody. But with me, she really latched on to me. She got so excited when I would come home from work. I used to work 2 jobs, and so I would leave early in the morning, and then I would get home really late at night. And so I would get home and it would be dark, so I would come downstairs to my room and I would turn on the light, or I would start talking, and naturally it's nighttime, it's late, she's busy napping, so she would be in her hammock, and then she would hear me, or she would see the light come on, and she would get so excited, and she would come to the front of the cage and be like, "Oh, mom, and she her attention was completely on me. And whenever I was home, whenever I had free time, she was out with me. We spent so much time together. She was something else. She was very, I miss her, I have a tattoo on the back of my leg of her. She's holding pussy willows, the little fuzzy little plants, I guess. And she's got a ribbon wrapped around her, and it says, "Sunshine daisies, buttermallow, turn this stupid fat rat yellow," which, hopefully all of you get the reference, but for those of you who don't, it's a Harry Potter reference as well. So to be able to create that bond with your pet, especially with a rat, it's really something very special. Now, kind of segueing into our next little bit here, to really be able to properly care for your pet rat, you want to be able to hold them and handle them a lot. Now, I know that, we're all adults here. We get busy, life happens, whatever. If you can't take them out for 5 hours every single day, it's not the end of the world. Your rats will forgive you, I promise. But, you want them to be able to be accustomed to you and to be comfortable and to be able to enrich their lives, get them out of the cage, because they spend 99% of their time in there already. So, something that a lot of people do as well. You can rat-proof an area of your home, whether it's a bathroom, or some people will even dedicate an entire spare bedroom to their rats and rat-proof it so that, they can open the cage and run free. One day I can do that. But if you go to Valley Village or something, you can probably find, those old toys. Some of them are little people things, but you could get a barn or a cart track or something. They're just hard plastic, bright and colorful, and they're the little houses and things. You can get those. They're typically meant for toddlers and young children, but they're also really great for rats, guys. So you can go out, you can get these toys. I actually got one a couple of days ago from Valley Village, and I'm hoping to take them out probably pretty soon here after I'm done recording, to the bathroom, and just have some nice fun playtime with them, because they're worth it. Let's be honest here. So handle them as much as possible, play with them, at least greet them, when you first get your rat, let them settle in for a day or two. Whenever you pass by the cage, talk to them, just say hi, talk a lot when you're around the cage so that they get used to your voice. I find that helps a lot. Hi, One is out and about, and she's eating and she's watching me as I talk. It's super cute, huh, baby girl? Yeah, so they get accustomed to your voice. They know who you are. These girls, they know my routine because I work nights right now, so I leave for work at like 10:30 at night, and then I come back at 7 in the morning. And so when I come home in the morning, they hear me, the front door open, and they all get up. All 4 of them get up, and they pile into this one tiny little basket by the top of the cage, and they fight over each other. Like, Mom's home, Mom's home, Mom's home, Mom's home. We have to say hi. And they literally fight over each other to greet me. And they're so excited when I come over and I sit down and I give them Cheerios and I give them rubs and kisses, and they're so sweet. Now, when you're handling them, when you're playing with them, when you're shoulder training them, when you're doing whatever with them, you will be peed on. Embrace the pee. It's gonna happen. They're rodents, they're pets, whether it's your child or whether it's your dog, whether it's whatever, this stuff happens. You're gonna get peed on. Now, with rats, honestly, take it as a compliment. Because that's their form of marking their territory. That's how they mark what's theirs in the wild and in the cage, and they're marking you as theirs. So I figured that I should probably mention this. Something else that you may experience, especially if you come and say hi to them after eating, you might come to realize that some of your rats are aspiring dentists and try to perform what a lot of people lovingly call rodentistry, where they will pry open your mouth and try to lick your teeth clean. I'm not even joking. Now I have lip piercings, and so Willow at one point learned that if she pulls hard enough on my lip piercings, I will open my mouth. And let me tell you, she was not gentle. So just be aware that this is a thing that might happen. Most people are fine with it. Rats are very clean animals. They spend a lot of time grooming themselves. So a lot of people just don't have an issue with it. But if you do, that's valid. I'm not making fun of you for this at all. Just, push them away. Literally just shove gently. But yes, just push them away. Now, with that said, regarding, Willow pulling on my piercings, some, especially newer rats, they might feel a little nibbly, and they might try to test you, So, typically you do want to try to break them of that habit pretty quickly. And the best way, especially if it's, just gentle love bites kind of thing, the best way to try to break them of that habit is to squeak. Literally just squeak at them. That's how rats communicate to each other. So that's the best way to communicate to them, because they can't understand English, they can't understand French, Spanish, whatever language it is that you might speak. But they understand squeaks. So and you might feel stupid doing it, just going, you're probably going to feel really stupid. But trust me, it helps. I did this with Cortana when I first got her. She used to try to chomp me through the cage and pull me in. She would literally try to pull me into the cage. It was super cute, but it hurt. So I would squeak at her, and as soon as I squeaked, as soon as she heard me squeak, she let go, and then she would lick my hand, So yeah, squeaking helps. And rats, they have nails. They have scratchy little nails. And these scratchy little nails can get very irritating to the skin, and sometimes they can get pretty long. So something that helps to keep them trimmed are lava ledges. I believe they're actually meant for birds, but they work for rats. So, just popping a few lava ledges into the cage so that they can climb around and they can trim their nails. And something else that you can do as well is like take an actual brick and just popping it in the cage, putting it somewhere that the rats frequently go. So like around the water bottle or around the food bowl, somewhere where they can sit and they can grind down their nails, Trust me, your neck and your shoulders and your chest will thank you. And, just going over a couple of things here that I missed as I rambled on and on and on. With the food, with any fresh food that you might put into the cage, you need to remove it 24 hours after putting it in if it's still there. Because you don't want that to rot, I used to give Willow grapes. She loved grapes. And this is another thing too, actually. Rats stash. It's their natural instinct to just stash food for later just in case, But I had to break Willow of this habit really quickly because I gave her some grapes and she took them up into the top of the cage into her hammock, and she buried the she buried the grapes under her blankets and she slept on them. And so I had to take them all out and throw them out, and I had to pull out any grapes that she would sleep on. And I mean, luckily she learned very quickly not to do that, so she stopped stashing grapes. But definitely keep an eye on any fresh food that you put in, because you don't want them to get sick. And interestingly enough too, actually, rats are omnivores, much like us. So like they'll eat anything you put in there. Obviously, you want to do your research and you want to make sure that it's okay and it's healthy for them to eat first. But yeah, they'll eat they will eat anything. So like if you make ribs one night or a steak, you can put your bones in there and they will pick them clean and they will be so happy doing it. And about doing your research too, you want to stay away from citrus. I personally stay away from citrus, period, even though I have girls. But citrus is specifically bad for male rats because there have been links between citrus, so like oranges, mangoes, obviously not lemons. You don't give your rats lemons. It's a very bad idea. But like citrus fruits, and cancer and tumors in male rats. The cause behind this is specifically something called D-limonene. It's found in citrus oils, and it's also used as like a flavor and fragrance additive in food, cleaning products, shampoos, that kind of thing. And it only affects the males, which is interesting. But it's because they have a protein in their kidneys called alpha-2U globulin, and too much of the D-limonene will cause the proteins to build up into tumors. So stay away from citrus for males as a general rule. I mean, if you give them just like a tiny little nibble of an orange, it's not going to kill them, but I wouldn't personally. Something else that I do also want to really quickly talk about before we go here. So ovens, there are ovens that have self-cleaning option on them, and I really need to take a second here to say don't use it ever if you have small animals in your home, so rats, mice, pocket pets, or if you have birds, because with the self-cleaning option, it has been known to actually make perfectly healthy birds drop dead within minutes. So I need you guys to be aware of that, and I'm going to go into why here specifically. And I want to give a quick shout out here to RatPotatoez. I think it's supposed to be Ratology, but RatPotatoez on Tumblr. That's RatOlogy. OIOGY, because they were able to go into it a bit more in depth here. And what they said is this also applies to rats and humans here. The self-cleaning function can discharge toxic fumes that come from the lining of your oven and the burned food and cause PTFE toxicosis. Signs of early PTFE include lethargy, trouble breathing, uncoordination, anxiety, and depression. It causes hemorrhages and congestion in the lungs. Similar symptoms can also come from smoke, sprays like Febreze or hairspray, ammonia, essential oils, candles, etc. Anything that releases a scent or presence into breathing air is considered unsafe. Even things marketed as safe for pets are not safe for pocket pets or birds. If you are experiencing symptoms like the flu, you may also be affected by PTFE. If you do use the self-cleaning on your oven, evacuate all animals and yourself out of the house for a minimum of 5 hours and ventilate your home well before replacing any pets. And at that point, it's just easier to clean your oven manually. Also, with keeping that in mind, that the same kind of fumes are given off from like Teflon pans. So just be careful and keep that stuff in mind if you have birds in your home, or you have your rats, you have your mice, because like I said earlier, they're our family, so you don't want anything happening to them. So with all of that said and done here, I think we're going to wrap this up really quick so that you guys can all get on with your day and I stop talking your ears off. So before we go, I just want to give you a reminder to, follow me on social media. It's on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, everywhere. It's at RatPotatoez, and that's spelled RatPotatoez. Spelled with a Z, not an S. Go and follow my other Instagram as well. That's RatPotatoes_store. And you can check out what hammocks I have in stock there. Right now it's the middle of October, so I'm working on getting out some nice spoopy Halloween themed stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And like I said earlier as well, if you want something custom made for a bird or for a gecko or for your hamsters or hedgehogs or anything, shoot me a message and we can see what we can do and get you something sent out pretty quickly. So give me a follow: Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I'm hoping to upload these podcasts fairly regularly. I'm hoping to aim for like a once a week kind of basis here. So these are gonna be up on YouTube, hopefully on Spotify. They're gonna be on SoundCloud, and I'm looking into also uploading them onto Google. I'm just trying to get the widest range I can possibly get here, so that we can spread the ratty love. Because rats, they get such a bad rap. Rats aren't gross; they're furry little buttholes. So give me a follow if you have any suggestions for future podcasts or questions that you would like me to answer in the future. Send me a message. I don't bite, I promise. I'm pretty friendly, I'm pretty chill. So until next time, until the next podcast here, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful night, evening, morning, wonderful weekend, wonderful day. I wish you guys all well. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.